Good morning, everybody. Jim Chester here with the ChiroHustle podcast. This is a live stream morning edition. I have Dwayne Hoskins coming in from Inman, South Carolina, and that's out by Sparkle City where Sherman College of Chiropractic is. And I am coming in from Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley on the west slope of Colorado, where nobody lives. And I moved here to hear the birds chirp. And today's episode is brought to us by pureCHIROnotes. And I picked the right hand today. It's right above my shoulder. If you guys look in the description of this live up top, you guys can click where it says click here, and that will migrate you over to Dwayne's site at pureCHIROnotes. I'm going to flash the actual web address on the bottom of the screen, make our names disappear, and then we are going to jump right into this episode. pureCHIROnotes.com is where you guys can go for your solutions. And I titled this as Software Solutions. So Dwayne, welcome to the show, and let's dive right in and start talking about software solutions and pureCHIROnotes.
Absolutely, Jim. First of all, let me thank you for what you're doing for our profession. There's only a handful of people that aren't chiropractors that have invested as much as you have in our profession. Keith Walsong, yourself, Roger Titone, Todd Waters. There's just a handful of very, very valuable people, and you're one of them. And thank you for what you're doing for my profession.
Hey, it's fun for me because I really have symbiosis and truth with you. And I really believe that the more people that were practicing a chiropractic lifestyle, we'd have less conditions that would need major medical attention. And I think that chiropractic is the real solution for human performance. And I think everybody now is starting to copycat actually what chiropractic is doing. And they're trying to relabel it as theirs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I sat with a group of medical doctors today and medical healthcare providers. I'm on a task force here in Spartanburg County called Access to Healthcare. And all of their stuff is moving towards metabolic disorders rather than physical disorders and behavioral health and stuff. So they're either moving far away to something that we don't really address specifically directly with our marketing, or they're trying to copy what we do, and it's invigorating, and it should stimulate us to be excited and get in the communities with stuff like new patient in a box, things like that.
Yeah, I honestly think that community-driven information is something that chiropractic has to go back to old school systems on. Chiropractors have to go to you have to go out there and earn business.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've told people this for a long time. I've been in practice 30 years, and the work of chiropractic is not around the table. The work of chiropractic is building relationships in the community, building the collaboration, getting out, getting known in the community. That's the work of practice. The fun of practice is when they're on your table and you get to do chiropractic on them. That's the fun. You get paid for the work, and the fun is fun.
Yeah, and I know that you're trying to help people with their workflow to have more fun. So let's dive right into that topic of software as a solution and what pureCHIROnotes is actually delivering.
Sure. Let's just start with the basic concept. First is, what is one of the most frustrating things in doing any business? And everybody knows that nothing's done, including going in the bathroom, until the paperwork's done. And so what I have tried to do as I took a very simple paper form that I used and which I stole from a lot of different people that helped me with my paper notes. When I started another practice, I really didn't want to use paper anymore. So I developed an electronic chiropractic note system, and we built it for me. And I found that a lot of other people that do practice in a business model that I do really enjoyed that system. That took less time than the encounter to do, and you had a complete, compliant, congruent notes that tracked all of your numbers and tracked the money. So this made practice a lot easier for the solo practitioner that was doing either cash membership or some sort of box on the wall, so that my notes weren't a modified medical note system, but they were specifically designed for the membership chiropractor or the cash-based practice model chiropractor, or the box on the wall. Is we focused on what happened on the table, and then we built everything around it. So my typical note to take from start to finish is about 30 to 45 seconds. which I don't know of any other system that you can get a complete, compliant, congruent note in that gives you all the information that somebody's going to need down the road to take care of that client. So I'm jumping ahead here, but the three things I tell people why we need to take notes is, one, for me, is as the chiropractor, I need to know what I did to you 6 months from now so I can see trends. Number two is for you as the patient, is you need to be able to take those notes to wherever you move to, and that chiropractor needs to know what I did. And the third reason we take notes is because the state, the regulatory boards make us take notes. And so let's just take really good notes. Let's make it congruent with our practice, and let's make it compliant to all those layers of requirements on us. And let's make it as quick and easy and complete as possible. So that's what I did, and that's what started me.
So what you're saying is this is a chiropractic note system designed by a chiropractor for chiropractors.
Yeah, you could say that. That would be a really good way of doing it. And not just any chiropractor, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, but a chiropractor that practices in this model of membership, cash, box on the wall. Not a chiropractor that practices in a pay-per visit or in a planned visit. I started this as a membership chiropractor, so that's what I built this around. We do plans and all that stuff now, but this was built from this side, not from the insurance model side. We didn't strip down an insurance modeled EHR and make it an ECR. We started as an ECR, which stands for Electronic Chiropractic Records.
Yeah, and I love that, man. I love the positioning of the scope of what you've created. And let's just, you mentioned box on the wall and membership a few times. Let's just kind of uncode those terminologies for people that might not understand it to the depth that you understand it.
Sure. Box on the wall is a very ancient concept, actually. It used to be called GPC, God Patient Chiropractor. In fact, I saw a letter written to B.J. Palmer in the 1920s, 1930s, where a doctor was explaining to him how he practiced and how he could put the NCM in that style of practice, because his income was totally dependent on the means of his clients. The point behind a box on the wall is there is a physical box on the wall. The clients come in and they take their widow's mite or their rich man's $1,000 check, and they put it in the box, and then they get on the table and receive care. It's a very faith-based mode of practice. You have to be in a mindset that God, the universe, will take care of me, and my patients will get the best care that I can give them, and whatever is in the box flows through the patients to me through the box from God. And so it turns your mind into, I'm relying on God for my sustenance, and that way I can fully focus on delivering my skills and experience to the person on the table. So it's an extremely high faith-based type of practice. The problem with it is most people think that a box on the wall is a way to deliver cheap care, and it isn't. And Reggie Gold practiced this way for years. And most people think that, Reggie got rich by speaking, but no, he got to speak because he was rich and wealthy from his box on the wall practice. And he tells a story once of opening up the box at the end of the day, and there was a $30,000 check in there. That's not a poor mindset of doing box on the wall care. One of his clients happened to be a prize fighter, a boxer, and he had just won the championship. So he knew chiropractic was part of it, so he tithed part of his increase back to his chiropractor. I know that historically, you can go back and you talk to Tom Gilardi, you can look at the record books, and you can talk to even Irene. They wrote checks that had 2 commas in it to Sherman to sustain Sherman during the hard times. That didn't come from his speaking. That didn't come from it came from his practice. So box on the wall is a way to deliver care. It's a business model that relies on God to provide your needs through the patient's willingness to give into the box. So that's box on the wall.
That's awesome, man. And there's stuff there that you just told me that I had no idea about. So that's one of the things that we were talking about off camera is doing these types of interviews. We're actually documenting the profession. And And I think that that's something that's real needed in the chiropractic space is a non-biased voice sharing the chiropractic truth from the voice of the practitioners.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And if you choose to do it that way, that's great. If you choose not to do it that way, that's great. Just don't make fun of it, and definitely don't lie about it, because it's not a way to deliver cheap care. Membership. Membership businesses tend to have we want you to sign up and never use our service kind of mentality. And frankly, that's how the fitness gyms, they plan on only about 10 or 20% of the people they sign up to actually use their services. Every membership practice I know, except for maybe one that I can think of right now, is just the opposite. We will actually cut off your payment if you don't show up like we want you to. So membership practice is a way to be congruent with our philosophy of client care, of delivering chiropractic. Membership practices typically lean towards the objective straight chiropractic philosophy, which is we take care of subluxation, because subluxation, vertebral subluxation in and of itself is detrimental to the full expression of life within. And so if we can take care of those subluxations that show up before they start building up layers of complications on a regular basis, you have the best chance to express life that's in you to its fullest and experience life around you to its fullest for you and your family. Well, if we do that, what's the most congruent payment method? The most congruent payment method is a lifetime fee. You pay me one fee and you'll get chiropractic care for the rest of your life. Couple problems with that. We don't know how long you're going to live, and most people don't have that much money in their account. So the next level down is you pay for the year. And all of my membership practices that I know of, you can say I want to pay for a year of care for my family on a membership model. Most people can't do that when they first get started. I do have stories of families that couldn't do that their first year. They come back in the next year and they write me a check for the full year. I'm like, I thought you couldn't afford this. They're like, well, we just did our taxes and realized we cut our medical expenses by $2,000 or $3,000, and you charged me less than that for a year. Okay, there you go. But the next most congruent level is monthly. Most people live on a monthly budget. So if we can make chiropractic care a line item in their budget to get regular ongoing care for the detection, location, analysis, and help in correcting vertebral subluxation, that's a very congruent business model to a philosophical model of delivering chiropractic. So membership, we use the term membership because you're buying membership to have access to me, is the closest word we can do. Unfortunately, membership gyms and stuff put a negative feel on that. So again, it's a choice for a business model that matches our philosophically congruent chiropractic model in delivering care.
So, yeah, and I know that, as people get into practice, they might not do it their way. They might not be able to be Frank Sinatra from day one, and they might not be able to go out there and do it their way. What if somebody is all messed up now and they're like doing some form of insurance model, and they're like not happy with their systems? How hard is it to unclog somebody from confused and doing the wrong type of system, and then to get them to be able to come back over and to go full cash or to not take insurance anymore?
Well, the trick is change requires change, and change is hard, and our system is built to fight change. Metaphysically, physically, psychologically, spiritually, we have this thing against change. And so you have to make a decision first. Why do you want to change to begin with? Just a different business model is not going to save you. A different business model is not going to rescue you from your debt. There's other issues that have to be taken care of first. However, the insurance practice, the medical model of delivery care, which is pay per visit, until your system or symptoms go away, or until you get better, or until I say you're corrected, that kind of care carries with it a high overhead, because it usually takes people that are specialists in a field to collect money, to bill money, to do that. And people at that level of interaction expect a more elaborate setting, and so your overhead is higher. In the membership, where it's more of a family setting, the overhead is extremely low. I can tell you right now, my entire overhead for my office, 100% of that is less than some people pay just for their electricity and the different models. Now, that's not saying one is better than the other. It's just the way I choose to do my practice in this business model with this chiropractic philosophy. The insurance billing practice, I have some very deep personal feelings about that I'm not going to espouse here because I don't want to start any kind of controversy. But I will throw this out to you. Those codes that we use, there's two problems with them. Are you ready? Number one, they're throwaway codes. If you look at the outline of how they're laid out, the M99 codes are throwaway codes, not otherwise or other places specified. The 989401234 procedure codes, those are also, well, they're in the 989 codes, so they're at the end. Everything else has been covered. They're throwaway codes. Number two, the American Medical Association owns those codes. For a software company to use them, they have to pay a licensing fee to the American Medical Association for those codes to be used as part of the software. So I have two issues with them just on the very surface of using the insurance-based medical model for billing. If you choose to do that, I'm fine. I'm happy for you. Please do it, but do it right. Just this past week, there's a bunch of articles about the insurance industry cracking down on fraud because of unpacking codes and doing some nasty things trying to get more money out of the insurance company than what was actually provided. So just if you're going to do that, do it well, do it right. But I have two superficial problems just with the process.
Man, and I didn't realize that there was such a division from how the system was set up to what actually is being billed for. And I think when people start to understand that giving fair care to people at a fair price and building a congruent system within your daily practice, I think that those are the things that will really set the chiropractor free. And I think when people realize that chiropractic is so simple, yet I think the chiropractor wanted to play by a different set of rules. And I think that right now we're starting to realize that there's some glaring deficiencies in the rules that were established. And we have to start, peeling back the time and going back to a more pure chiropractic style. And I love what you guys are doing with pureCHIROnotes. I love that you're making an affordable EHR system for people that actually bills for chiropractic services. I love the fact that you guys have set it up to where somebody can come on board with you and be a client of yours and be serviced by a system that was designed by a chiropractor for a chiropractor, billing for chiropractic. I think those things are the reasons why over the past couple of years, you and I have built a deeper relationship with each other, understanding that we both say the same thing, but with our own voice. And I think
we have a different vocabulary because you come from journalism, I come through chiropractic, and so we are saying the same things just from a different perspective.
And you come from it from the perspective of building a software. And creating something for utilitarian purpose for the chiropractor to make their job more fun and easier. And I think so many times when people think about like outcomes, at the end of the day, what do you want to do at the end of your shift?
I know what my clientele want to do. They want to lock the door, go home, spend time with their family because they don't have to worry what's left at the office. They don't want to have to come in on Thursday because they're not seeing patients and spend all day Thursday doing their notes and catching up on notes they did last Friday, trying to remember what happened. My people like to be done knowing they have nothing to collect because they're cash-based or membership, and the notes are done. That's my ideal clientele.
And I think that that's so cool because at the end of the day, I can't tell you when I worked in an office how many times I would see the doc sitting around laboring and doing notes, or coming in on their Thursday, like you said, and spending an entire 3 hours catching up on their notes. And I think, when you realize that you can have somebody come in, you can do the palpation, you can find out where the subluxation is, adjust them, and have them checked out, and you don't have to worry about a collections per visit. I think it's brilliant because it really lets that chiropractor practice real chiropractic and just deliver the adjustment as baseline what chiropractors really all want to be doing.
Well, it makes the software engineers do their job, which is create a user interface that makes sense to the user, make the user experience something that they enjoy, and then the software engineer needs to do all the magic in the background. It's a tool. The tool has to work. You shouldn't have to take a Sawzall or a hand drill, weld it, modify it, do it, all these other things to make it into a file. If you need a file to do the job, buy a stinking file. And that's what's problem with this market is we have welded, shaved off, cut down, modified EHR systems that were built to bill insurance. And so I'm going to buy into the system, but I'm only going to use like 10% of its power or 10% of its thing. I'm still have to go through 4 or 5 different tabs to go through stuff that I don't use, but I'm going to use it to take my cash membership box on the wall notes and then waste all this time and energy and money on parts that I don't even use. But I'm gonna call that better because I can chop it off and modify it for myself. It just makes me want to pull my hair out, which is why I keep my hair short.
Well, let's jump in and talk numbers now. Right. I know you said that there's something like actually 60,000 licensed chiropractors and like 50,000 offices.
Yeah, there's about 60,000 active chiropractic licenses in the U.S. from the last study I did. About half of those are full-time, which means they work 40 hours or more per week. So if we take the 60,000 chiropractors, and we know from studies and by surveys done recently that about 10 to 12, maybe 15% of those are cash. They only see cash clients. They don't do billing. They don't do insurance. And then about a tenth of those, about 1 to 5% total, are membership based. It's becoming more and more in the medical field. They call it concierge medicine. We call it membership chiropractic. So my niche that I market to are those membership practices, those cash based business model practices. That's who I want to market to. That's who I want to serve.
I think it's really cool that you understand who your client is. You understand the market well enough to build a system for them. So of those cash practices, are those cash model membership styles that don't take insurance, what is that number? Is that like 6,000 then?
Yeah, if you take all of the membership and cash-based business models, it's going to be about 6,000 to 8,000 total. And membership only is going to be in the 1,500 to 2,500 range, growing every year, by the way.
So it's important for us to start sharing what you do with our audience at a greater level and letting people know that you are a resource for them. And I always tell people it doesn't matter how great of an idea that you have or what you've created. If people don't know about it, it's not going to grow and people aren't going to use it. I think Dwayne cut out there for a hot second, but he's back.
Yeah, baby.
But I was just saying that, we have to bring your message to more people because honestly, most people don't utilize systems if they don't know about them. So right. we need to start marketing what you're doing a little bit better. And I love the fact that you are doing your own lives. You're active in certain groups like the membership group on Facebook. I like that you're active in the Black Diamond Club. I like that you're supporting ChiroHustle. I love that you're with Titronics and supporting Roger. You're always involved with Sherman College, your alma mater. It's awesome to see how great that you've been able to interact with this world, man.
I love that you said Sherman's my alma mater. I actually graduated from Logan in '92.
Okay, my bad.
That's okay, man, because I've been petitioning to become an honorary alumni since I worked there as Dean of Clinic Operations and Outreach. I wanted to be an honorary alumni because Logan has turned the corner towards a place that I don't resonate with. So Logan College of Chiropractic is my alma mater. Logan Health Service University, or whatever they call themselves now, I don't necessarily resonate with. I definitely am a supporter of Sherman, 100%. In fact, at Lyceum, which was a few weeks ago, I don't know if you've seen the new building or not, but they're starting to do some fundraising to help with operational costs and endowment funds and things like that. Part of their decorating scheme is to put all 33 principles of chiropractic, the philosophical principles, as huge portions of the walls in the school. And I was talking to Patty Thomas, who you need to call if you're interested in doing this. I actually bought Principle 31 as the very first principle sold. And I'm going to leave it up to you to look that one up to know which one I valued more than all the others. I knew everybody was going to jump on Principle 1, which is that there is a universal intelligence which created all things and holds everything in together and gives to everything its properties. And everybody knows Principle number 6, which is there is no process that does not take time.
Okay.
Right? But I chose Principle 31 because I agree with Tom Gilardi. Chiropractic is vertebral subluxation. And so Principle 31 is subluxation. We call that interference that happens in the transmission of mental impulse subluxation. So anyway, fun stuff. I love Sherman. I'm still all in. I don't work there anymore. All in. I just promote it. We talked about it before. I mean, for you even to think that was my alma mater is a huge boost to that conversation.
Well, I just saw how, you spoke about the school and how supportive you were of the school. I could just imagine that that's where you went. And, and, you being out in South Carolina and being so close to the university and actually working at the school, I thought it was just, I thought that that's where you had gone to school because of your ties to the school. So
right. I moved from Indiana to be down here to be part of the leadership team. And I did that for a year and a half. Some things happen. I don't work well in bureaucracy, which is why I'm usually the CEO or president and not any other position. And we parted ways. I was part of some huge things that happened there. I was actually part of the leadership team that started the renovations that they did. I led the team that raised 80% of the funding for the clinic renovation before I left in 3 days. The funding and design was already done for the student clinic, but I got to oversee that and work with the people that designed it before I got there. We tripled new patient flow. We doubled. It was just a fun time to be there. The bureaucracy was more than I can handle. So we parted ways and we decided to stay in the area because you've been here, this is God's country. This is a beautiful place to be. So we decided to stay here. We actually moved my in-laws in with us. We live in a big log cabin in the woods here in the upstate, and it's just a glorious place to be.
Yeah,
all that has nothing to do with pureCHIROnotes, but man, is it nice to be here in the upstate.
Well, I think when people realize that the brand is the personality behind it, and when people have passion projects, it really is the person that you're buying into, and it's not just the product. And I think that when people start to understand the ethos behind the creator of a system or a product, they'll buy more into somebody's personality than they will anything when it comes to an exchange of money. So I love the fact that you share so freely about who you are and what you're doing, because that's what I think that the future brand will be. Is it will be how, like they always say, it's not like what you know. It's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that that's something to be said about what chiropractic is, because people don't know what they don't know until they know that the chiropractor can provide it. And
congruency is the key. We need to wake up and stop pretending. We have an extremely valuable service to each individual, to each family, to our community, to our culture. We need to not succumb to the inferiority complex that's being forced upon us. We need to stand up for what we do because we're the only ones that do it. We cannot just be pushed aside We cannot let people push us aside. I sat around a table with 20 other healthcare providers. All of them are MDs, nurses, or PhDs in healthcare running the hospital systems here. And I had a voice in that community, made them listen to the chiropractic story to include in the healthcare survey they were planning. Been part of that group for 3 years now. They listen and respect me. Why? I don't back down. I don't let them push me in a corner. We have something valuable. They know it. They're at a point where they can't try to take my corner off anymore. They're too busy dealing with the other crap that dealing with the other issues that have cropped up because of the mismanagement of the pharmaceutical industry. Sorry about the controversial part of that. We have a place. We have a very strong, sturdy place here. We have to step up and occupy it. We don't have to defend it. We just have to occupy it with some confidence. And everybody understands the value of what we do. We have to. Sorry about that. That's a little bit of cramping. So anyway, back to pureCHIROnotes, because that's what we were supposed to be talking about today, right? I made a bunch of, I was challenged to show me how to do a note in 30 seconds. So I have these 30-second challenge videos that I've done. They're on our Facebook page. They're on our YouTube page, where I do a task in 30 seconds. I actually have a timer on the screen and everything, and I actually do a complete visit in 30 seconds. I actually do create a macro in 30 seconds. I actually do end of day reports. I do creating a report to send with a client or to a client. I do all these things in 30 seconds, and we're developing more of those. I'm just given a list today of the next one to do, so I'll get that done this afternoon. But pureCHIROnotes came out of my passion to focus on my clients, not on the paperwork. It came out of my need to help my friends doing the same type of practice that I did, provide a quality service with no excuses at a quality price so that they can do their thing, which I hope every chiropractor wants to focus on, and that's client care, getting rid of vertebral subluxation so our culture and our communities are as interference-free as possible. I mean, can you imagine the big idea, BJ Palmer's big idea? Can you imagine living in a house where everybody's subluxation free? How about a neighborhood? How about a community? How about a county, a state, a nation, a world? That's where we're headed. And if I can take a little bit of burden off of the chiropractors, so if they use my system, they can see an extra 5 or 10 or 15 people a day, I'm all in on that. And if I can do it so that when they close the door at night, they can go and spend time with their families and do the things they love so that they can get refreshed and recharged. So the next day they can see 100, 150, 500 people the next day. I'm all in, man. That's why I do what I do, so I can just help my colleagues, not my competitors, my colleagues, my comrades in arms, do what they do, which is eliminate vertebral subluxation on an ongoing basis.
Well, I stand with you, and I love the fire inside of you for helping chiropractors. There's not too many people like you that could actually come up with a system to help their brothers and sisters along, saving time, saving money, saving frustration. And like I said earlier, it's a chiropractic EHR software created by a chiropractor for chiropractors. And if you guys are interested in joining on with Dwayne, I'm going to flash the website to the bottom. Up in the description up above, it says click here. So go click there. I can't tell you guys how to do it. You just go click. And but if you go to the web address on the bottom of the screen there, pureCHIROnotes.com, they'll get you on a demo. They'll show you how easy it is, probably in 30 seconds. Yep. And you guys will have a trusted resource in the chiropractic space that is helping people with their systems and strategies and saving you time and money and giving you more freedom in practice. And I think all those things are very important for the end user, because nobody wants to do more paperwork. So with that being said, Dwayne, is there anything that we didn't touch on today that you would like to share with our audience?
No, we like investing in chiropractors, so we actually have a package of our collaborators for startup people just graduating. You can contact me about that. It's 3 months, 3 months of Black Diamond Club membership. We'll help develop your logos and websites. We'll give you 3 months of PureCHIROnotes. We'll give you a discount on Titronics. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do to help a new practitioner out. So reach out to us. We love helping invest. We love investing in new chiropractors.
So I think our next time, Dwayne, we'll talk about how to help the upstart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, I know we both got to go. I got to take care of clients and you got to take care of another client.
Yep.
So love you, man. We'll talk soon.
Okay, man. Have a great day. And you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you on the next one, and go over to purechironotes.com.
Love you, man.
All right. Love you.